there's a great feeling in these overcoming these difficult things, because life is never this just constant state of I'm at a 9 all day, and when I'm with my wife I hit 10, yay, and I stay like that. That's not real. What's real is like you saying that you went to this monastery and felt all this angst about meditating and being alone and not having your phone and not having the input. But then when it comes out of it, then you have this reward. So you push through this, and you had these uncomfortable feelings, and you came out of those uncomfortable feelings with this newfound appreciation for time and this respect for your own existence in your own space and carving out 3 hours for yourself a day. That's where it all comes from. It all comes from life lessons, and the lessons are learned through struggle. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that think somehow or another you're going to get to some place where you're living in silk sheets and you're getting your toes done while someone's dropping grapes into your mouth. I don't want that. I've never wanted that. That guy's not going to be happy. He's going to be bored. An hour into the grapes, you're going to get those fucking grapes away from me. Stop painting my toes. What am I doing in this bed? I got to do something. I'm not stimulated. The human organism, the animal that we are, needs constant stimulation because it evolved trying to find food and escape enemies, and find shelter, escape nature, escape the elements, try to survive. And this is the great joy that you have in taking care of your children, that you can protect your children from the elements and the enemies and feed them. And it's also the great sadness that you see in losers. When I see a loser, I see some guy who's 43 years old, lives in his parents' basement, and he fucking hates the world. I'm like, that was a baby. Man, this is a baby that somebody just gave shitty nutrients to, whether it's nutrients in the forms of food or in the form of thoughts and ideas and examples. And this kid developed these horrible, self-defeating patterns of behavior that have led them to this point where they're this middle-aged person with no future and no idea of how to get out of this rut, and probably never will escape it, and might just wind up sucking on a gun. You know, I mean, this is the world that we live in today. And I think part of that world is because we have been fed this line of horseshit that you're supposed to seek comfort. And I don't think you are. I think you're supposed to seek lessons, and you're supposed to seek difficult tasks and accomplishments. And through those things, and through doing things that are hard to do, even if it's just a fucking 90-minute hot yoga class. I do a 90-minute yoga class, man. Those last 20 minutes, I do not want to be there, man. And I definitely don't want to give 100%. And I can cheat. I could kind of half-ass it. I can. But if I don't, and I get through it, when that time is up and the lady says namaste and everybody gets up, I'm like, fuck, man, I made it. You know, I lost 15 pounds. My fucking yoga mat is drenched to the point where I could literally wring it out and fill a jug up with water. But through that struggle, I will now have a better day, and I better fucking do it again tomorrow or do something else, because if I just think, well, tomorrow I'm just going to coast and eat Twinkies and watch TV. Oh, hello, sadness, my old friend. Hello, depression. Because when you're not doing anything, you feel like shit. And that's just a part of being a human being. And we can pretend that we're something other than what we really are, and we can pretend, nah, me, man, I'm just cool, just chilling, doing nothing. Bullshit. You're a fucking human. You're a human being. You evolved from the fucking hundreds of thousands of years of hunters and gatherers and people that were struggling. Those human reward systems are carved deeply into your DNA. And if you don't respect that, if you don't respect the mechanism of happiness and fulfillment and what you really need to do in order to feel satisfied in life, camaraderie, love, family, friendship, struggle, testing yourself, learning, all those things are imperative. They're all a giant part of being a person.
I love it. That was amazing. And I'm thinking in my head, am I checking those boxes as you're talking? And am I living my life like that, you know? And yeah, I agree with you.
Sounds like you are.
I am. Yeah, no, I feel
and
like
we all waver, right? We all
have
days in and days out.
Absolutely.
But to be reinforced.
Yep. And I feel like, you know, as I'm listening to you talk about that, I'm literally going through like the last 10 years of my life, you know, and when I lived with David, when I went on the monastery, all these things, they're all about getting an edge and doing what you know, and I think it's like part of being human. And that stuff makes me feel the most alive too. Mm-hmm. You know, like that just makes me feel alive.
Yeah. You know, and also like little improvements over things. That's why doing difficult things is good, whether it's running. So like if you're running and you could run 2 miles and then one day you get it up to 3. It's like, fuck, I remember when I struggled with 2 and now I can do 4. Little improvements, and you really see that in yoga class, and in particular for me, because I'm not good at it. So when I do a yoga class and I can hold a pose until like you're holding these poses for a minute. And if you could stand on one foot, grabbing your other foot and lifting it above your head and keep your arm out straight and your balance and your foot's on fire and your core is engaged. But if you can get to the point where they say stop, you feel like, wow, I didn't used to be able to do that. I used to be able to hold it for 10 seconds and then I would fall down. And then I'd have to start all over again, start from scratch. There's little improvements where you feel yourself getting a little better at something, whether it's jujitsu or anything else. Just little improvements, I think, are what life is all about. And I think also they're a tool to feed the mind, because I really believe the mind needs these little lessons. The mind needs these little tasks. And if your brain doesn't get that, I think it atrophies and it gets depressed. And it's like I think that's half of what a lot of people's sadness is this lack of stimulation and reward, lack of these peaks and valleys. And this bullshit idea that we're constantly fed that you should be comfortable.